All right, hello everyone. I hope you're all well and are enjoying your first day at AWE. Thrilled to be here to speaking to you all and with my good friend and alumni Nakita Chand here on how to get a job as an XR developer. Or if you're a developer yourself already, you can think of it as how to continue succeeding in your role as an XR developer no matter where that route takes you. Now, I'm going to take about 20 minutes here today to introduce you all to who we are here on stage, who is Circus Stream, what do we do, but also then having a fireside chat here with Nakita on her journey and experiences on getting her XR development role and afterwards moving forward in her journey and career as well. So, a little bit about myself. My name is Stephane Licina. I lead partnerships at Circus Stream. I have over several years of experience in the tech industry, working with learning management system providers, travel IT companies, ERP and business integration platforms, and now in the beautiful world of real-time 3D technology and extended reality as well. And it's a pleasure and an honor to have Nakita Chand joined me here today. Nakita is a content product manager at Microsoft with the mixed reality experience team there. She herself has over 13 years of combined experience in design, manufacturing, and education, and her hobbies include singing, dancing, and interior decoration as well. Now, I wanted to kick off this presentation by framing some interesting trends that I came across. Now, Pricewaterhouse released a report called Seeing is Believing, and they stated that 23.5 million jobs worldwide will be using augmented and virtual reality by 2030 for training, collaboration, and to provide new digital experiences. Now, earlier this year, Citi released a report, Metaverse and Money, that states the metaverse represents a potential 8 to 13 trillion opportunity by 2030 and could boast as many as 5 billion users. So there's a big need for developers, designers, creators out there at the moment and seeing where these trends are going. This is just going to get larger and the need for creators is going to be more and more in demand. And to highlight this a little bit better, just a couple of weeks ago I was doing research myself. There are nearly 1,100 open roles just in the United States alone for XR professionals on Indeed. And this is just on Indeed outside of all the other hiring platforms and networks out there. Nearly 6,100 open roles in the US for VR professionals and 4,800 open roles in the US for AR professionals. So we're seeing a large demand for XR developers and designers at the moment. And again, with the trends I just illustrated earlier, the need and the demand is just going to keep growing from there on. Now, a little bit about Circus Stream, who we are, what do we do? Well, Circus Stream is an education provider teaching people the skills on how to develop and design both virtual reality and augmented reality experiences from scratch. And since 2015, our focus has always been on education. And we've reached over 45,000 learners globally, giving them the skills and the tools to be creators themselves afterwards, no matter where that journey takes them. And Circus Stream maintains some of the highest level of certifications available by Unity, and Circus Stream is also a Unity authorized training partner. Now, we're one of the few organizations out there offering micro-credentials and badges for those who do graduate and become creators themselves, and we actually helped co-create Unity's Certified Associate Programmer certification alongside Unity's team as well. Now, we've helped train some of the largest and most innovative organizations out there in the world, whether they had employees that they wanted to train up to be XR developers themselves, upskill current developers on new tools and processes out there. And as you can see, we've had the pleasure to work with Airbnb, Apple, Raytheon, the US Navy, BMW, and Hershey's, the chocolate company. So better believe that chocolate's going to be delicious in the near future. But not only have we worked with large companies and enterprises, but we've also supported individual learners as well. And we have people joining us from all walks of life, all different types of industries, looking to learn these skills so they can go follow their passions, be creators, and apply it to these different industries that we saw earlier today. And for the last 3 years, we've actually had Oculus Launchpad alumni of ours join Oculus Launchpad's program, one of 100 that get accepted each year. So really, from large organizations down to the individual learner. And just recently, to help increase the accessibility to education, technology, and career opportunities, we started partnering with universities to deliver courses and programs to their communities, to their students, from the University of San Diego, California, Riverside, Nevada, Reno, Syracuse, and University of British Columbia, Toronto, for those of you who are Canadians in the crowd here today. But how do we do this? Well, outside of the bespoke custom training we offer for enterprises and other professionals, we have 3 main programs that we offer for those who are looking to become developers or designers. We have an XR Development with Unity course for those developers out there who want to learn the technical side of things, coding, scripting, physics, programming, to our XR Interaction Design and Prototyping course, which is the designers out there, those folks who are focused on design, user experience, storyboarding, prototyping, and I'll get into how these two kind of work together a little later on today. And then we have a more kind of, how would I say it, a longer program, Unity Developer Bootcamp, for those who are looking to really understand all things 3D, not only specific to VR and AR, but game development, design, working with teams and whatnot. And all of these are live and online, instructor-led, and project-based, so you come out with portfolio pieces and really learn the skills you need to apply it to work and start creating projects and experiences yourself. And learning XR skills is an advantage. 1,400% AR/VR job growth in 2020, and it's just going to keep growing. 601% demand growth for real-time 3D skills, whether it's the Unity or Unreal Engine, and 122% demand for proficiency with 3D engines is projected to grow over the next 10 years. Now, how does kind of all this play together? And I like to use this double diamond design process that we kind of tailored for XR development. Now, fundamentally, you kind of need designers and developers to create, an experience, a project for extended reality, virtual reality, augmented reality. Now, you'll see on the left side the interaction design. These are the designers that are focused on the what and the why. They're discovering the problem, they're defining the problem, they're testing it, storyboarding and prototyping. And once all of this has been tested and completed, that's when it gets passed off to the XR developers out there. The developers are the ones who focus on the how, developing what the designers have put together and delivering that as a final product to the audiences or the clients or whatever that may be. But with that, I would like to, give Nakita Chand a moment to tell her about herself, her journey, how she got into an XR development role, and then we'll go over some questions on really, how to get an XR development role and a job. So Nakita, please.
Hi everyone, I hope you guys are having a good start to the AW Expo. Again, my name is Nakita Chand, and I was actually fortunate enough to take the XR Accelerator Bootcamp at CircuitStream, but I'll kind of walk back a little bit in my history there to kind of how I ended up at that point. I have a long career in 3D modeling. I started off in mechanical engineering, used Inventor, SolidWorks, kind of pivoted to fashion design, did a little bit of 3D design, 2D design there, and gravitated back towards a need to kind of fill a creative and technical endeavor. I've kind of been dancing on both lines pretty much throughout my entire career and needed a place that had both. And as I stumbled across augmented reality and wanted to learn more, I discovered Unity was one of those softwares that I needed to do to get to that point. So I attempted to self-learn and hack my way into an XR dev role. Very quickly realized I needed a little bit more help with that. So that was kind of how I evaluated a decision between going into a master's program or going into a boot camp that focused on specific XR disciplines, and stumbled across CircuitStream, and from there just kind of did a number of other things as well to kind of build my career into this XR field. So that's a little bit of background on me and kind of where I'm at right now and how I'm here talking to you all.
Awesome, thank you. So first question we have for yourself here, Nakita, is, how can someone here in the audience or listening at home gain that valuable experience that will help them be successful in landing an XR development job or role, or, continuing to grow as an XR developer?
Sure. I think the biggest thing that I think is super helpful is just to be extremely curious. I think this is probably a common thing that you'll hear elsewhere, but being curious means that you're going to figure out something that you're interested in and actually really get into the smaller details of that and how to actually execute and make that happen. The XR industry is a massive industry, and there's many different verticals that sit in there and are new ones that are coming in. So really finding your place within that realm and seeing what interests you and what problems you actually want to solve or be a part of is part of the pathway of being curious. And the two things that I would add to that is also failing fast. I think from my own experience kind of getting into this realm was kind of fearing failure and how would I actually start on a project without knowing what I needed to know. And I very quickly had to realize I needed to just try. I needed to create projects. I needed to stumble, fall, pick myself back up. Bug smashing became laborious in the beginning, but it became a lot simpler with more common practices and more study, more curiosity, and continuous learning. So I think just putting yourself out there, doing projects, being curious, and continuously learning on top of staying on top of whatever's happening in the industry is important, but also understanding who you are and where your gravitational pull is in that industry and focusing in on that and driving that home will really help you be successful.
Thank you, Nakita. And you mentioned curiosity, and I'm super happy you're all here attending the event today because there's so many great tools and processes out there that you'll be learning about. And that's exactly that, being curious about those tools and processes, going out, learning them, being guided by them. It's a great point you brought up. Thank you, Nakita. Now, how can someone make sure that they stand out when they are applying or seeking for an XR development job or role?
Sure. I think as being a developer or an aspiring developer, you're naturally going to have to create a portfolio, something that showcases your work. Speaking back to the projects that I was just talking about in the first point, really being able to make those shine through and also speak to them is important. I think solving an actual problem is kind of really something that will set you apart and really identify you as a potential candidate and really make you seem more authentic. Because I sat in an interview once and that really was positive feedback that I had gotten directly in the interview. And I realized how important that lesson was. They valued that I actually really attempted to solve a problem I saw within the space that I was a part of. And they valued that I spent the time to do that rather than something that might be fun or unique to you, but might not solve the problem for a larger group. So that's something that I think is really impactful is, solve a problem that you actually are seeing that is being experienced by a group of people and see where you can take that.
Now, if you don't mind me asking, Nakita, what was the one problem that you solved in that project that you were building?
Sure. It was actually my portfolio project in the boot camp that one of my interviewers acknowledged. It was actually an AR app, an Android AR app that would actually just allow you to trace and trace a 2D shape in a plane that you would select. So it was very simple in concept, but the actual application of it was for fashion designers to actually translate their 2D patterns into a digital file. I'm sure technology has advanced in the last year and a half since I've actually visited that project, but at that time it's very cumbersome, laborious, and expensive to actually do that. And so I saw AR as a really simple tool with a simple application to solve an actual problem.
Awesome, thank you. And one of the last questions I want to ask you is, where should someone here or watching at home look for XR development opportunities and jobs? What's your experience with that there?
Sure. So Definitely LinkedIn. That's what I heavily use to kind of showcase my work, actually attribute some of the work that I do in my current roles to what would be relevant for future job searches. I also, in this whole journey of trying to land an XR dev role, I was kind of taking a multi-pronged approach. So any chance I got to sit in on a virtual event that was specific to a specific company hiring, I would sit on those sessions. I would just overhaul my LinkedIn from top to bottom to make sure everything was optimized in terms of tagging the content that I was pointing towards, the files and the portfolios that were being linked to that, and really making it just an ecosystem of you, so that way you could actually showcase who you were and what you stand for and what work that you do.
Perfect. And there's a lot of great communities out there as well, a lot of different events you can go and network at, such as this at AWE, many other ones. CircuitStream has a wonderful community of like-minded creators, professionals, and learners, other platforms, Discord channels, Slack channels out there as well. So there's so many things that you can dip into to really find, and not only find a job, but really to network with others and to see if they could help get you in for an XR development role and job as well. But with that, I do kind of want to recap these 3 points there. How can someone gain valuable experience that will help them be successful getting a job as an XR developer? Again, curiosity, right? Nakita mentioned fail fast. And there was one thing you mentioned as well before is being forever a student, right? Mm-hmm. And tell us a little bit about that as well.
Yes. So I think specifically now within this immersive era that we're living in, continuously learning is what will keep you evolving. The technology stack is not going to just stay frozen in time. So, the part of being a dev and being a contributing factor into this industry is really continuously learning. And again, foiling back to curiosity is making sure that you are staying on track with what's actually going on in the industry and being able to add value to your current role and plug into different conversations that are happening around some of those new discoveries. So forever student for sure.
Perfect. And then again, the second one, how can you make sure to stand out? Well, again, your projects, right? Build a variety of different projects. Make sure it actually solves a problem that can be applied in the real world. Be vocal about your work. Share it with everyone. Get feedback. Continue to work on them and make changes and adjustments. And then another one I thought was interesting that you mentioned was reverse engineering job searches, right?
Yes.
Yeah. If you can touch up on that as well quickly.
Yes. Thank you for catching that one. That one is a good one. At the very start of my journey into XR, I initially just looked at 15 different XR dev roles, just Unity developer roles, and anything with synonyms that would match that same role. And I went through each job description, highlighted every similarity, put it down onto a learning shopping list, and just went at it. And I would learn my data science, I'd learn my algorithms, and I'd back it up with a credential or a course completion or something. And it, at the beginning, seems like a very long road, but you'll realize once you're on that step by step, you'll make that progress and everything will start to make sense and come together, and you can actually start to add value very quickly. And it doesn't have to end, it doesn't have to start at the end of that road. It can actually start at the beginning. So reverse engineering is just, for me, actually finding the jobs that I wanted to and figure out how I could shop the learning I needed to actually make the projects that would help me get the jobs. So that was that.
Perfect. Awesome. And then the last one, where would you look for XR development roles? There's so many places you can look at, obviously, job search engines and platforms. LinkedIn is one that Nakita loved to use and has found great success in as well. Different channels out there, platforms like Slack and Discord, so many groups that you can network, find roles and opportunities there with. Joining a community like CircuitStream or any other educational providers out there that will really have a network of partners to help you find a job, support your career growth, work on portfolio pieces and projects, and events, again, like AWE, a wonderful event to go to network, collaborate with others, and find these opportunities. So really, if you yourself are looking to be an XR developer, if you're a developer already wanting to upskill on any of the new tools that you've seen here at AWE on day one or throughout the next following days there, if you've got a group of members looking to get trained up, we'd love to chat with you. We'd love to see how we can help, whether it's your teams, whether it's just yourself. We've, again, supported people from all walks of life. And if you're looking to get that first role and career, or, again, for talent, if you have a team or you're looking to hire folks, we'd love to work alongside you as well. So do come visit us at booth 610. If you've got any questions, we're happy to take some now. If not, 610, feel free to join us tomorrow at the booth. We'd love to chat, answer questions, and see what you're looking for and what skills are required for you to be successful there. So thank you everyone for listening, and have a great AW event. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
I was wondering if how you felt about the courses at Circuit Stream, if you want to get into this field, but actually as a development manager rather than as a hands-on keyboard developer, and how much of the knowledge you need of the actual technology to be a manager.
Great question. And again, I said we have people joining us from all walks of life, and it's not those, there are a lot of those folks who are looking to become developers or designers themselves, but even managers who are looking to understand the technology, learn what their teams are talking about, and really, understand what projects are being worked on, and they can speak to it. So even though someone might be joining, or at least, looking to manage a team of developers or be some sort of manager, it is still valuable to learn these skills so they can, again, speak to the technology better, understand what teams are working on, provide feedback as well. And within the programs themselves, they do provide a kind of real world situation of how workplaces work, right? So whether you're that manager looking to speak to the tech better, we'll help you learn those things. If you're a developer, you'll focus more on the technical side. Designer, more so on the storyboarding and user experience. So the skills are still valuable to learn if someone is looking to be a manager themselves. And we've had people from VMware, Microsoft themselves, Meta join so they can lead their teams better, or at least they've saw some new tools and processes out there. They want to learn it so then they can instruct their teams on how to develop and create with it. Great question. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for the presentation, guys. Not sure if this is the right place for this question, but I work for a company that does technology development for VR and AR hardware. So we work on some of the tracking capabilities and some of the underlying technology. So what I'm wondering about is that this area is actually fairly new for us, and so I'm trying to get a better understanding of how the job market breaks down. Like, is there a group of content developers and then a group of technology developers, or what kinds of how do we find out a bit about the best way to go about hiring people? So
and that's a great question. I mean, the way we support startups, businesses, organizations with finding great talent like that to help with whether it's hardware or software is reaching out to someone who's close with, whether it's their graduates or their community members, because they understand what previous skills and experiences they've had. And we do have a lot of people joining us with some hardware background, coming in, learning more about XR development and design, and then afterwards going out to work with, other organizations out there. So how do you find the best fit and talent for it? It's finding communities and those who lead the communities who are close with the members there, who can refer some great talent to support the projects that you're working on. And I'd say that's probably the biggest piece out there. There's a huge need for those folks that you were mentioning. And happy to chat more with you about that at the booth as well, so please don't hesitate to stop by. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Ian. Do you have any strategies for when you're trying to determine a project to add to your portfolio that's going to bring a lot of value to it? So I'm actually with the MIT Reality Hack, and a lot of the projects that I've added to my portfolio have come through attending hackathons or going to game jams. But I find that it can be really hard just on your own to say that setting out to do this project is going to help me. Do you have any strategies for when you're looking at a project like that to evaluate that this is the right decision? I really like the piece that you added about trying to solve a real problem, because it shows a lot of value in that project. But is there anything more that you could speak to that effect of how you select projects that are going to bring the most value to yourself?
Right, that's a great question. Do you want to take this?
Yeah,
one, Nakita?
absolutely. From my experience, I actually pointedly chose this project before I chose the boot camp. So in a way, it was for me something that just resonated as just an idle issue that I always had to kind of feel like I needed to fix somehow. So I would actually look within. I would say, do you have a challenge you encounter daily that is something that you feel like you could actually take an approach on? Like for instance, one of the things I do actually when I know I just don't have the time to do it, I actually have an XR list of projects I would love to try one day. And I may not get to all of it, but it's just musings, just ideas that I think, would be neat, or something I've seen that inspired another approach to a project here. But when you're talking about projects that you are already actively involved in or have already completed, I would also spend more time speaking to what your involvement is with that project, and maybe ideate a little bit on how that same technology or how about that same design approach could maybe be extrapolated out to a larger issue, and kind of reusing the work that you already have in a way, but maybe also kind of taking a step back and seeing how else could that be applicable.
I like that. That's a great point of that. You can find value in work that's already been done than necessarily needing to set out and do new work. But still always a student and always learning. So
Yep.
thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thanks again, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thank you.